Hey y'all, it's your girl Doria, and I'm back with another video. And today we're gonna be talking about self-awareness and why it's important and how it can change your life for the better. So self-awareness starts obviously within yourself, but you recognizing tendencies that you may have, triggers that you may have, emotions that you may have, reaction to certain things that may happen to you. There is a whole bunch of ladybugs outside right now. So self-awareness is the ability to recognize one's own thoughts, emotions, feelings, behaviors, strengths, weaknesses, and motivations. It involves having a clear and accurate perception of yourself, your emotions, and your mental and emotional processes. A little textbook definition. All in all, self-awareness is fundamental for personal growth and emotional intelligence. And you know, here on my page, on my channel, I am all about personal growth. That is why I share these thoughts and ideas and feelings with you guys, hoping somebody can relate and take heed to the things that I speak about. So I'm hoping that is where you find value when you're watching one of my videos, right? So there are two types of self-awareness. There's internal self-awareness, obviously you knowing yourself, you being able to label your emotions and your feelings and identifying your core values. And then there's external self-awareness. So basically you being aware of how you show up in the world and how it affects other people, okay? Because how you are with yourself can be totally different than how somebody else perceives you. So those are our main two types of self-awareness. Now you may ask, how do you become self-aware? Don't worry, I'm gonna give you a few tips. One of the main things that has helped me become self-aware, I was gonna say one answer just now, but another one popped into my head as a bigger, more important answer, which is therapy. Therapy has really made me aware of not only the things I might do, say, think, or feel, but why, the reason that I do, say, think, and feel those things. The why behind all of that is very important because you can now pinpoint your triggers. You can pinpoint things that affect you fundamentally. And therapy has helped me realize the source of a lot of my emotions and feelings and the why I do certain things, which helps me fundamentally make a change. Because if you recognize that you do something, right? Let's say you recognize that you always have a bad attitude, but you don't really know why you have a bad attitude or where it may stem from. And if you try to change it, it's gonna be hard because you don't even know what the trigger is. You don't know what the source is. So without knowing the source, you're not going to fully be able to change that behavior. So in therapy for me, a lot was unveiled to me and a lot of connections were made from my childhood, from experiences throughout my life, just a lot of things that once those connections were made and it clicked, I am now able to take those tools and take those ideas and apply it to become the person that I want to be. All that being said, it's a struggle, okay? It's a struggle. It's not change that happens overnight. You will regress. I regress all the time. As long as you get back up and you keep trying to be the person that you want to be, trying to be a better person, that within itself goes a long way. That within itself goes a long way. But along with therapy and just reflecting on things that have happened in my life, practicing mindfulness has been, it really just helps you. And I talk about this in plenty of my videos, but mindfulness can really help you quiet the unnecessary thoughts in your mind, quiet the noise, and help you zone in and focus in on what you want to change. Focus in so that you can gain clarity on a situation or a behavior or a thought or a feeling or whatever it is. And when I say practice mindfulness, that may include meditation, right? Or even if it's just reflecting after a conversation that you've had, a tough conversation, a happy conversation, or interaction, reflecting on what has happened throughout the day, taking a second to be present in the here and now, and clearing your mind so that you are able to gain insight on the things that you are exploring. To add on to the practicing mindfulness and talking about therapy, journaling can be a useful tool. I've seen it with my own eyes. I personally, not that I don't take well to it, but I talk enough in my head where me writing it out won't really make a difference. So I have a lot of internal dialogue. And for me, journaling is just me repeating that stuff. However, I've noticed that for some of my friends, all they need to do is write, if they're writing out whatever they're feeling, whatever questions they have, they don't really need me to answer. They just needed to write it out and get it out of their head and say, oh, okay, I have clarity now. So if you're into journaling, you're into writing, highly recommend. You should do that. At least try it out, right? Try it out for a week. The key is consistency. But yeah, just remember that as one of the tools that you're able to use whenever you are feeling stuck or whenever you're trying to just work through a problem. So one thing that I came across on like Instagram and TikTok recently is people talking about emotion wheels, right? That their therapist has given to them, and realizing that whenever we are describing how we feel, sometimes we're not actually saying an emotion. So this one girl, she was describing her situation. She was like, I feel like he played me. That's not an emotion. That's not an emotion. That's just an idea that you have, a conclusion that you might have come to, but it's not an emotion. So sometimes we need to dig deeper into honing in and identifying the emotion that we are actually feeling. And I might print out one of them damn emotion wheels because sometimes you may not realize, or sometimes you just don't have the vocabulary, or you can't think of the emotion off the top of your head. Like you're feeling a certain way, but you may not have the word for it. So having that emotion wheel could definitely help out. So this is a tip for myself to try out as well as for you. So if you're gonna try out emotion wheel with me, let me know in the comments so I'm not the only one. But yes, doing that will improve your emotional intelligence. So if you're good with your emotional intelligence, you can identify how you feel about something. You're better able to communicate that with somebody. If somebody else is involved, you're better able to communicate that with somebody else. You're better able to communicate that with yourself and find an actual resolution. Because if you're unable to accurately identify the emotion you're feeling, you may not go about that situation in the correct way. For example, for what that girl was talking about, she felt disrespected by some guy, right? And you're like, do I feel sad? Like sometimes your first thing is to say, I feel sad. Like, why would he do that to me? But you're like, sad is not the emotion, because if you feel sad, how would you react, or how would you go about approaching that person, right? You'd probably be like, yeah, I'm sad that you did that, and whatever, like they apologized and you're like, okay. But when she got down to it, she was like, no, I feel humiliated, I feel embarrassed, right? Those sad and humiliated are two different emotions, which will be handled in two separate ways. So if you feel humiliated, you're gonna be like, oh, I feel humiliated, you're playing in my face, block. Like, that's completely different than you expressing your emotions and that person apologizing and you moving on from that, right? So two different outcomes that can happen based on how you label your emotions, and one may not help you. So being able to accurately identify your emotions, that's good stuff. So I'm definitely gonna get me a little emotion wheel, because Sometimes I don't even take the time to reflect and ask myself why I feel the way I feel, or what am I feeling? A lot of times when people are like, how are you, or how are you feeling? I'm just like, I don't even know. I guess that's my coping mechanism. It's not really doing me with justice, but here we are. Next. So piggybacking off of identifying your emotions, right, and learning your triggers, one of the things that also mindfulness can help you with is being connected to your physical body, okay? Our physical body tells us a lot about what we're feeling and what triggers us and what we may be going through. But if you're not in tune with it, you're not listening, you're gonna miss the cues. So for example, when I was in high school, I used to be nauseous every single day. I would never throw up. I went to the hospital. I went to the ER one time. They did tests on me. They said, you're fine, physically fine, right? But I'm like, but I'm really not though. Like, I am nauseous every single day. That was back in high school. So I graduated high school, 12 years ago now, almost. It wasn't until 2019. It wasn't until 2018 or 2019 that when I first spoke to my therapist, my current therapist, she helped me realize that I struggle with anxiety. And my anxiety manifests physically as nausea and headaches. I did not ever make this connection, right? Especially, being young, a teenager, you're not even thinking about that, right? But now as an adult, and she helped me make that connection and realizing that anxiety can happen when, you're going through a major life change, a transitionary period, etc. Back in high school, I was going through a huge transition from living with my mother to living with my father. And the reasoning for all of that was traumatic within itself. Not realizing that transition and then the life I was living after was causing me great anxiety. And nobody ever picked up on this or offered, okay, maybe we should get her in a therapist or something like that. And that could just be for cultural reasons or just lack of knowledge, etc., etc. However, I don't blame the people around me at that time, okay? I'm self-aware enough to know I struggle with anxiety. I'm self-aware enough to know that I am a grown adult and that I need to heal myself. It's not the job of your parents to heal you. Granted, they may have done things or made decisions that have affected you. However, you're gonna sit here and blame them? How does the issue get fixed? It does not. It is not somebody else's job to help you heal. It is your job to do that. You take everything that you know, all the experiences that you've been through, you take your newfound self-awareness, and you go on your healing journey. Sitting here blaming somebody else because you don't know how to manage finances, because you don't know how to show affection in a healthy way, because you don't know how to do whatever, or whatever you went through has affected you in a certain way, just because that has happened, or just because somebody else may have been the cause of those things, does not mean that they have a responsibility to fix it. Okay, it is your responsibility to get up, recognize what's happening. You forgive them, not for them, but you forgive them for yourself. My way of forgiving my parents, like in my head, is just saying, they did the best they could with what they had, especially considering their upbringing and the situation that they've been through when they were children and growing up. I can genuinely say to myself, they did the best they could with what they had. And I leave it at that. Their development is not my responsibility. My development is my responsibility, right? So I let go of that for myself, because if I were to keep dwelling on, like I did before therapy, if I were to keep dwelling on what my parents didn't do for me or any decision they made that made me be the way I am today, what progress am I making? No progress is being made. Not only are you not making progress, but you're filled with resentment towards people that are not responsible for you at this point in your life. You're holding a resentment, which is brewing negative energy and negative emotions, and you're only just making it worse for yourself. You ain't hurting nobody else but yourself, okay? Rant done. I have a video talking about leaving your past in the past and moving towards your future, and you are the orchestrator of your life, okay? With that comes a willingness to want to keep on learning. You are a student of life, always. Always wanted to be your best self, always wanting to learn new tools, have new knowledge on how to do new things, right? Adapting to different environments. So if you have the self-awareness and the emotional intelligence, and then you're constantly learning how to adapt in different environments, no, you cannot be stopped. You're unstoppable. Like, nobody can stop you. You own the room, you command the room, and or at least you're respectful in that room. You know how to conduct yourself, and it's all good in the hood. So many of those things there are for internal self-awareness, right? One main thing for external self-awareness is to seek feedback. Ask for people around you that you trust honest opinion of you. Ask people for feedback from different environments of your life. At home, right? The people you live with, your friends, how you interact with your friends. Work, maybe ask some of your coworkers or some of your managers for feedback. And when you're asking for feedback, okay, I'm sure a lot of people struggle with this, but taking constructive criticism and feedback is an art, if you will. Do not take things personally. You must be open to what these people are saying to you, because some people might say things that might hurt a little bit, okay? But you have to be able to accept that information and remember your end goal is your personal growth. You want to be the best version of yourself that you can be. So taking that feedback with an open mind is going to be necessary to be able to apply that information and be that better person that you want to be. I don't know if I am ready for that stage yet because I struggle with feedback, but I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress, okay? We're all working on it here. But with that being said, it's been great to be able to talk to you about self-awareness and how you can use it to be the best you that you can be. Let me know which one of these you're gonna try next. And I'm definitely gonna be printing out that emotion wheel. So I'll give y'all an update on how that goes. But yeah, we have to do our weekly eco warrior thing. All right, so here we go. Stick to the empties rule. Only buy a replacement or substitute product once you've entirely used up the previous one. Nobody needs 5 different moisturizers or 3 cans of the same deodorant. Unless it comes in a variety pack, like me. But anyways, yes, stick to the empties rule. So not only will you reduce waste, because let's say you buy 5 of one thing and then you end up not liking it anymore and now you have 3 left over. Wasteful, right? Wasteful physically with materials, and then also wasteful with money. Like, hello, these eco tips not only save the earth, but they save your pockets. So go ahead and save your pockets, okay? Anyways, your mind is your only limit. Don't forget. I know I haven't said that in a while. I haven't been here in a while. I haven't been consistent, but I'm here now. And your mind is your only limit. Don't forget that, okay? Peace.